In 2005, the NFL played its very first game outside of the United States in Mexico City, and over 100,000 fans turned out to that game to support those teams. But ever since then, the NFL has still been trying to figure out how to capture that international audience, and they've probably got it done yet. So if you want to know more about how this all works, make sure to give this video a thumbs up or a thumbs down because it's still your thumb, and let's go ahead and get into it. That 2005 game was played by the Arizona Cardinals and the San Francisco 49ers, and the game by any means was not good, but the fans loved it. And ever since that game, the NFL started a NFL Europe League where they had teams in the same basically NFL structure just in Europe, but it just wasn't making enough money and enough sense. So in 2007, the NFL canceled that league, but dedicated themselves to bring NFL games to international countries and to Europe. There have been over 28 games in 13 seasons played in different countries, mostly in Mexico City, but most recently they have started a game which is played in Wembley Stadium in the UK. This does not only benefit the NFL reaching their international brand, but it also helps the cities which these teams play in. In the 2016 game versus the Houston Texans and the formerly then known Oakland Raiders, that game had a major economic boost for Mexico City. So that's why these countries are letting these NFL players come and play in their stadiums. And this tradition will continue on this NFL season as the Falcons and the Jets will play each other October 10th. The Jaguars and the Dolphins will play each other October 17th, with both those games starting at 9:30 a.m. Eastern. And as these years gone on, the NFL has really wanted to tap into the biggest European market there is, and that is the London market. They have shown major interest for the NFL as the games that are being played in Wembley Stadium, those games have been sold out every single time. And even the people in London have expressed their interest to the NFL, saying how much they would like an NFL team. But unfortunately for those London fans, it's just not really realistic for the NFL to have a team in London, as they have a very significant time difference. And those games that are played in those stadiums overseas are being on these teams' bye week, so they have that entire week to travel there and adjust to the different time zones. If the NFL had a team then that means there would only be about 4 games this team could play in the NFL season, as teams are limited to when they could actually start their bye weeks, and that has to be after week 4 of the NFL season. In addition to the fact that there will be 33 teams in the NFL and how that would affect the conferences and the divisions. If you want to know more about the NFL divisions and how they work, make sure to check out this video right here where I talked all about it. I'll link it in the description as well up in the cards. But even though all these issues stand in their way from having a team, the NFL is still dedicated to bringing these fans games. As in this offseason, the NFL's player associations and owners have decided in their collective bargaining agreement that starting in 2022, there will be at least 4 international games played. For the first 8 years, the league will be deciding who plays in this game, as the teams will be one from each conference, and every year this will switch off. So starting in 2022, it'll be teams from the NFC, 2023, AFC, and back and forth until those 8 years are finished. These games are expected to be played definitely in the UK and Mexico City, but there has been talk about these games being played in Germany or maybe even Canada. Even with this new deal, the teams still have a little bit of power because they can still protect certain matchups, so the biggest rivalries can still be played on their home turfs. And teams do not have to play more than 1 international game a season. Teams can volunteer to play more games overseas if they would like, as the Jaguars have been volunteering to play in the international series more than 1 game ever since 2013. They were supposed to play 2 games in Wembley Stadium in the 2020 season, but we all know what happened. The other way that the NFL has decided to grow its global brand is by starting the International Player Pathway in 2017, which allows players from other countries to be a part of NFL teams for a certain amount of seasons, get on their practice squads, and some have even actually made the 53-man roster If you have watched Hard Knocks this past season, you know who I'm talking about. But if you would like me to make an entire video on the international players pathway, let me know down in the comments below. But since you know so much about the NFL's international game series, make sure to check out this video right here where I talk about how the NFL makes money and all the different ways they cash in on this. As well as make sure to subscribe and hit the bell to be notified every time I post a new video, which are on Mondays at 11 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. Let me know, how do you feel about these international games, and if you would like to maybe attend one. Make sure to give this video a thumbs up or thumbs down because it's still your thumb. And remember, don't be afraid to join the convo. The NFL Players and Associates, they're called the NFL Players Association. They're the same person.